Hi, welcome to my video on factoring Quartic polynomials. Quartic polynomials has a degree of 4. Let's look at some of them. Quartic polynomials have the form of ax to the fourth plus bx cubed plus cx squared plus dx plus e, where a, b, c, d, and e belong to the real numbers. Notice the power is 4. The degree of the quartic polynomial is 4. It's the highest degree of any one term. Each quartic polynomial has 4 factors in terms of the x. And when we say 4 factors, we mean 4 linear factors. And that's some examples is x times x plus 1, x plus 4, x minus 3. There's one. Another one. This is linear degree 1. That's degree 1. There's a 1 at the top of each of these. So each one of these has a degree of 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Quartic has 4 factors linear. This one has x squared, x minus 4, x plus 1. There's 1 there, x plus 1, x minus 4. And there's 2 here because it's x times x minus 4, x plus 1. X cubed times x plus 6, there's 1 there and there's 3 there, so x cubed is x times x times x. 4 terms, 4 factors. X to the fourth is 4. X times x times x times x. And e is, that's a square, so that's a quadratic, so there's 2 here, x plus 2 squared, x minus 7 squared, so there's 2 there, so 4 altogether. And x minus 1 cubed times x minus 2. This is linear because it's degree of 1. This is, if you expand this out and cube it, then you'll get this one. This polynomial from this will result in an x cubed, with an x gives you x to the fourth. So quartic polynomials, 4 linear factors. Factor each quartic polynomial completely. So the first rule in factoring is GCF, but we have to make sure that it's in descending order. X to the fourth, x cubed. X is GCF, and the smallest exponent is 3. So we'll take out the x cubed. X4 divided by x cubed is x, and 6x cubed divided by x cubed is 6. So notice we have a quartic. There's 3 here, x cubed, and 1 there, x plus 6. Again, descending order 4, 3, 2, and we have to take out the GCF. 2 is the smallest number, so 2 is a factor of 8 and 6, so I'll take out a 2. And x is common. X is in every term, and the smallest exponent is 2. So I'll divide 2x to the 4 divided by 2x squared is x squared. 8x cubed divided by 2x squared is a positive 4x. And 6x squared divided by 2x squared is a plus 3. Notice 3 terms here, 3 in here. 2 terms here, 2 in here. And this is a trinomial, so we have, let's see if we can factor further. If it can factor further, then we'll have 2 brackets. X squared is made up of x times x. Notice the product is 3 and the sum is 4, because a is 1. So when a is 1, the product is a times c, which is 1 times 3, which is 3. So when a is 1, the product is at the end, the sum is in the middle. So what's the factors of 3? Got to be 3 and 1. If it ends in a plus, then the 2 signs will be the same. So the sum is plus 4, so it has to be a plus 3 plus 1. C, I have a GCF, descending order, perfect, 4 and then a 2. I take out the x because it's common, and the smallest exponent is 2. So when you, x to the 4 divided by x squared is x squared. 25x squared divided by x squared is negative 25. And notice that this is a binomial. It's a difference of 2 squares. Notice that that's x squared minus 5 squared. So it's the difference of 2 squares. We're able to factor the difference of 2 squares as x and x, 5 and 5 with a plus and a minus. because notice there's no x in the middle, so the sum is 0. 0x is understood to be there. So we add up these two, we get 0. We multiply, we get negative 25. And I see a common binomial GCF, so I see an x squared plus 9. When I take x squared plus 9 out of the first one right here, I get x squared left. When I take x squared out of this, I get a minus 4. Now notice this is the sum of two squares. The sum cannot be factored over the real number. It can be factored, but we can't do it yet unless we do what we call the system of imaginary numbers, but we haven't done that yet. So this cannot be factored any further over the real numbers. But this is the difference of two squares. That's x squared minus 2 squared. So 2 brackets. X squared comes from x times x. 4 is 2 times 2 because it's 2 squared. And we have a plus and a minus because there's a 0x in the middle. Fully factored, remember, it cannot factor the sum of two squares. This is x squared plus 3 squared. You cannot factor the sum of two squares over the real numbers. And we have x to the 4. We have nothing, descending order 4 and 2, and that's x, nothing common. But we have x to the 4th, and notice the middle term is x squared. That means you treat this as if you would with an x squared and an x. X to the 4th is made up of x squared and times x squared. And the product, so you treat that a is 1, so the product is plus 4, and the sum is a minus 5. Product is plus 4, the sum is minus 5 because a is 1. So the factors of 4 to give you 5 must be 4 and 1. And the sum is negative 5. So if the product is positive, you must have 2 negatives. Why? Multiply, plus 4, add, negative 5. Notice both of these are the difference of two squares. So that's easy. That's x and x. 2 and 2 plus minus. This one's the difference of two squares, because 1 is 1 squared. So 2 brackets, x squared is x and x. The factors of 1 are 1 and 1, and we have a plus and a minus. So notice 4 different linear factors. Let's go back to this one. There's 2 linear factors here that we can see, but this one has 2 linear factors, but again, they're belonging to the imaginaries. Because that's a square, there's 2. So there's 2 there, but they're a different set of numbers. 1 there and 1 there. Let's go to f. F to the 4th, subtract 1. Again, that's very similar to this one. So we have the difference of two squares. So we have x squared. 1 squared is 1 and 1 with a plus and a minus. So if you did the FOIL on this, notice you get an x squared here. The outside is negative 1x squared. The inside is a positive 1x squared, so they cancel out. And negative plus 1 minus 1 gives you negative 1. And you cannot factor the sum of two squares, so we leave it alone. Notice I always put the plus. When I do the difference of two squares, I always put the plus first, because the plus is not going to factor any further. It's the minus that will factor further as the difference of two squares. So this is x and x, 1 and 1, plus minus. So there's 2 linear factors here. There's 2 here, but again, belong to the imaginary numbers. Let's continue. Now, I left off a number here. I left off an x. I was going to fix it, but I left it off. So let's put the x in. The GCF is an x. Descending order is 4 and 1. So x is common. So I get x cubed plus 1. X to the 4th divided by x is x cubed. X divided by x is 1. Now notice we have the sum of 2 cubes this time. So the sum of 2 cubes is a cubed plus b cubed, which is, let's see, the pattern is a squared, b squared. And that's a sum, so that's a plus. This sign changes to a minus, and this is always a plus. So notice, in this case, we have an x cubed, so that's x being cubed, and we have a 1 being cubed. So x cubed plus 1 is written in the terms of the power of 3, so x to the cube power, 1 to the cube power. So that means x is a and 1 is b. So a is x, b is 1. A is x, b is 1. B is 1. So notice I put a, x in the place of a, x in the place of a, x in the place of a, and b is a 1, b is a 1, b is a 1. Simplify that, and I'll do that here just to save some time. That gives me, the first bracket is x plus 1, and the other bracket becomes x all squared, and negative x times 1 is negative 1x, which is negative x, and 1 squared, 1 times 1 is 1. So there's the full, notice linear 1 there. There's a 1 linear here, x plus 1. And that's a quadratic, degree 2. So there's 2 here, but we don't know how to find them. We need more math. And let's work this one out. 4 terms, no GCF. But in 4 terms, we can do grouping. Let's take the first 2 and the last 2. In the first 2, we have an x cubed. X is common, the smallest power is a 3. X to the 4 divided by x cubed is x. And 2x cubed divided by x cubed is 2. I see a negative, so I'll take a negative, and 27 is in both of these numbers. So 27 comes out, and I get an x minus 2. And I see a GCF, binomial GCF of x minus 2. When I take the x minus 2 out of this expression, I get an x cubed. When I take an x minus 2 out of this one, I get a minus 27. And again, I have the difference of 2 cubes. So I got an a cubed minus b cubed, which is a squared, b squared. And minus is there, so I put a minus here, change the sign as a plus, and the end one is a plus. And when I rewrite this one as x being cubed, 27 is 3 being cubed. So a is x, b is 3. So a is x, b is 3. A is x, b is 3. So I fill all that in first, and then I simplify it. And again, without writing it down here and then copying it, I'll put, so I got an x minus 3 to go right here. And the inside of this bracket, x squared is x squared. X times 3 is plus 3x. And 3 squared is a plus 9. So there's the full factorization. 1 linear there, linear there. This is a quadratic, which the highest power is the 2, so there's 2 in here, but again, we can't find them. We got to do more math. Practice means pause the video and work out each one of these one at a time and press play back to see if you're going to do okay. Factor each quartic polynomial completely. Notice quartic means you're going to have 4 linear factors. Here we go. Descending order, yes. And I see a 10 and a 15, so I see a 5. That's common. I see an x cubed. There's an x in each term, but I take the smallest one, 3. 10, x to the 4 divided by 5x cubed is 2x. 15x cubed divided by 5x cubed is a minus 3. Done. And I have a negative. I got descending order. I always check descending order first. And I have to take out the negative because I don't want a negative in the first term. 3 is common to both terms. And there's an x in each term, and the smallest exponent is the 2. Here we go. Negative 3x to the 4th divided by negative 3x squared is x squared. 3x squared divided by negative 3x squared is negative 1. Notice, again, I have two terms, but that's the difference of two squares. Remember, difference of two squares is x is being squared and 1 is being squared. So the difference is subtraction of two squares. Difference of two squares is easy to do. X squared is just x and x. 1 is 1 and 1 with a plus and a minus. So linear factor, degree 1, linear factor, degree 1, and there's a quadratic, there's 2 here. 4 altogether. Number 3, we have the descending order is 4, 3, and 2, perfect. And we can't take out the 2 because 2 is not a factor here, but we can take out the x's is common. The smallest power of x is 2. So we'll 2x to the 4 divided by x squared is 2x to the 4. X cubed divided by x squared is x. Negative 10x squared divided by x squared is negative 10. Now we have a trinomial where a is not 1, so we have to do product is a times c. So a is 2, c is negative 10, so that gives me negative 20. And the sum is b, so b is 1. So the sum is equal to 1. So what's the factors of 20? Factors of 20 are 1 times 20, 2 times 10, 4 times 5. And if the product is negative 20, that means the sum factors are plus or minus, so they differ by 1. And 20 and 1 differ by 19, 2 and 10 differ by 8, so here's the two factors of 4 times 5. But because the product is negative, then one of these factors is going to be positive and negative. The sum is 1, so that means the 4 is negative and the 5 is positive. Multiply, check, multiply, negative 20, add 1. So we group these two, so we put these in here with an x. So negative, that's a 3 there. That's I did a 2, that's a 2. You gotta be careful. And so the 4x plus 5x minus 10. So that's a 2 there at the beginning, that's a 2 here. And so we go with two terms each. We do it by grouping. Here we go. So that gives us big brackets. In the first two, I have a 2x. So that gives me x minus 2. In the next two, I have so that whatever that sign is right there, that's what goes here. So 5 is a GCF of x minus 2. And we want to factor this now. So I'm going to leave off these big brackets right here. Leave them out. So I get binomial GCF is x minus 2. And what's left, when you take x minus 2 out of this expression, is 2x. When you take x minus 2 out of here, this expression, you get a plus 5. So it's fully factored. Linear, degree 1. Linear, degree 1. Quadratic, 2 degrees. So those are 4 terms. Number 4, x to the 4th minus 16. The difference of two squares. So that's x squared. X squared. 16 is 4 and 4 with a plus and a minus. Again, I always do the plus first. When I say the difference of two squares, that x squared squared and 4 squared. So x to the 4th is x squared squared. So that means that x squared goes in both brackets and 4 goes in both brackets with plus minus. You cannot factor the sum of two squares. Again, that's why I put the plus first. But you can factor the difference of two squares. X plus minus 2, 2. Number 5, we have x to the 4th, descending order, nothing common. So again, I have x to the 4th, a is 1, so I have, how do you get x to the 4th? Notice the middle term is x squared. That comes from x squared and x squared. When you multiply those two, you get x to the 4. factors of 9 to give me an 8. The product is negative 9. The sum is negative 8. That's because this is a 1. So that's the product and that's the sum. So the factors that give you a 9 are 1 and 9 and 3 and 3. So the factors that give you an 8, 3 and 3 won't work. So I have to have a 9 and a 1. And because the product is negative, I have to have a positive and a negative. So I have a negative 9 and a positive 1. This is the difference of two squares. So that's an x, and that's an x. And it's a plus and a minus, 3 and 3. And we cannot factor the sum of two squares. So that stays as is over the real numbers. We can factor it, but not yet. It's a different system. Done. And x, let's see, descending order 4, 3, and 2. We have a 7. 35 got a 7. 42 got a 7. So I'll take out a 7. And there's an x in every term. Smallest exponent is 2. So that gives me x squared, negative 5x plus 6. Each one of these is divided by 7x squared. And the x squared might go further. Let's check. X squared is x times x. The product is 6. The sum is negative 5 because it's a 1. Factors of 6 to give me a 5. Got to be 6 and 1. 3 and 2 won't do it. And, oh, well, now I better be careful. The product is 6 and the sum is negative 5. 1 times 6 and 3 times 2. Remember, the product, the factors have to add up. So 6 and 1 won't add up. So it's a 3 and a 2. Be careful. 3 and 2. Because the product is positive, that means the two signs are going to be the same. They're going to add up. So it's a negative 3, negative 2. Multiply. Positive 6. Add negative 5. So be careful. 6 and 1 can go either way. You can subtract 6 and 1 to get 5. You can add 3 and 2 to get a 5. So be careful. Let's continue. Again, how are you doing? Hopefully everything's working okay. Keep thinking. Keep thinking. Factor quartics. 4 factors. And nothing descending order 4, 3x. And we have the group because there's nothing common. The grouping. We got an x cubed in the first two. x4 divided by x cubed is x. X cubed divided by x cubed is a plus 1. Notice 2 terms here. Got to be 2 in here. Plus 8 is in the next two. And we have an x plus 1. Monomial GCF is x plus 1. Done. This is x cubed plus 1. Notice that's the sum of cubes. So that's an a cubed plus b cubed. Factor a, b. A squared, a, b squared. That's a plus, so it's a plus here. That's a minus, and that's a plus. So write down this one. That's an x being cubed. Plus, that's a 1 being cubed. So a is x and b is 1. So a is x, b is 1. A is x, a is x, b is 1. B is 1. So notice as I come across a and b, I fill in the x and the 1. And without writing all that down again, let's make it a little bit shorter. Video is long enough as it is. I got the x plus 1 here, so that goes there. And I simplified the inside of this one. X squared, x times x is x squared. Negative x times 1 is negative x. And 1, oh, that's a squared. And I say, talking too much, you have the tendency to make an error. So 1 squared is plus 1, fully factored. 1, 2, it's quadratic degree 2, so it's 4 factors. Number 8, I see a binomial. X binomial is a factor, so I see x squared, x plus 10 plus 25. And these are factorable. This is the difference of two squares is x plus 5, x minus 5. And this is let's see, x squared is x and x. Factors, the product is 25. The sum is 10. And so the factors of 25 are 1 and 25 and 5 and 5. So what factors give you a 10? Not that one, so it's 5 and 5. 5 and 5. If the product is positive, you have 2 of the middle signs. Why? Because when you multiply these two, you get 25. When you add, you get plus 10. And notice that this is x plus 5, 1, 2, 3 times. So to write it better, we do it to a third power. And number 9, let's see what happens here. I got no binomial GCF, no. I got nothing x is common in all terms, I could take it out. But sometimes in math, teachers make you work harder, so let's multiply all this out and see what happens. One way to work it out is expand it out. X to the 4th minus 2x cubed. X squared times these two is x cubed minus x squared. X times these two is x cubed minus 3x squared plus 3x squared. And we simplify, so those two cancel out. I have cubes here, so there's 2, that's 2 there, and a negative, so they cancel out. So this expands to x to the 4th minus x squared. Descending order, x is common, so take out the smallest exponent of 2. So x to the 4th divided by x squared is x squared. X squared divided by x squared is minus 1. That's the difference of two squares. And the difference of two squares is x and x. Factors of 1 are 1 and 1, with a plus and a minus. So linear here, degree 1, and that's a quadratic, degree 2, for them all together. So that brings us to the end of factoring quartics. Again, good practice. Practice more. Find out from your teacher if you do the quartics. If you like my video, click the like button, click the subscribe button, and the notification bell. Write a comment on my video if you wish. Visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, and there you'll have the sections on me, talks about my degrees and teaching experience. The video section talks about the strategy you're going to use to help you learn your math. The content section talks about the topics I have online and the number of videos on those topics. And the black font is what's online right now, and the red font is what will be there in the near future. Thank you for viewing my video. Bye-bye.